Hello everyone, welcome back to Soul's Journey, and I'm doing a VR today to, it was a hashtag started by Kasha at Tarot Maps, and it is my most unusual decks. I actually saw this first over on Boy Diviner's channel, on Casper's channel, and I started thinking about what decks did I have that were super unusual. So the first one I'm going to show is one that was called the New Tarot by Anthony Apesos. I think that's how he pronounces his name, I'm not really sure. This was a Kickstarter that I backed last year. It was very, very limited run. I think he only printed up like 100 or 150 of these decks. And it's very non-standard. In fact, whether or not it's even a tarot deck is kind of questionable. So the four suits are animals, wood and stone, light, and history. So very, very different, and the images are all original oil paintings of his. Gosh, I don't even know if these are in order. The artwork is very good. It's beautiful. He's done a lot of exhibitions and stuff. I don't even really know how to describe it. It's so unusual. Sorry, the light in here is so terrible today, but it's such a dark day out, and even being close to the window here, it's just not really helping. I like the wood and stone. Oh, okay, so I really liked these images. I think for me, they're extremely evocative. And I think they're a great jumping off point for meditations. And this card really is quite dark like that. I hope these are showing up well. And these are, like I said, these are all original oil paintings. And I will link to more information about the artist down in the description box. Yeah, I was really intrigued by the artwork, so I'm always drawn to the strange and unusual, I guess. So I admit I have not worked with this a lot since I got it, but I really like his art. I think it's beautiful. So next up, I thought I would include, and if you haven't seen my Asian decks for Asian Pacific American Heritage Month, I talked about this there. This is a deck called the Bagong Sinning deck by Lenormand Narciso, who also did the Vanessa Tarot, among many others. And this is unusual in that it has both male and female for each of the 22 major arcana. It's a majors only deck. So you've got two of every single one. Got male and female High Priestess, male and female Empress, male and female Emperor. It's absolutely gorgeous art. I just love this deck so much. So he self-published this, and a bunch of us who were on the Tarot Collectors Forum, this is from many years ago, excuse me, hang on. Okay. Yeah, we bought this directly from him at the time. So this was like 2008 or 2009, I forgot now. And he created these little boxes that they come in and everything. He's just an amazingly talented artist. I love his work. So this is the Enochian Tarot from Gerald and Betty Schuler, painted by Sally Ann Glassman. And this was put out by Llewellyn in 2000. And this is the second edition. First edition came out in '89. So this deck is based on the writings of John Dee, who is generally credited with the discovery of Enochian magic. So the whole thing has got a very unusual, it's a really hard to describe deck. So they've got a whole system in here that I just have really not taken the time to figure out. I believe they are OTO, Ordo Templi Orientis, which I believe was Crowley's, Aleister Crowley's group. And I really have not spent a lot of time getting to know this deck because OTO is not really my thing. But it's a very, very unusual deck. No doubt about that. I think it's got 30 major arcana cards. I have really very little to say about this deck because, like I said, the OTO is just not my thing, but it is definitely an unusual deck. Okay, so next is a very beautiful deck that I got when I was an active member on Adam McLean's Tarot Collectors Forum many years ago. As you can see by the date here, 2010. This is a completely hand-painted deck of cards. It's a majors only deck by Almaho, who is a Spanish artist. This was the first edition. And looks like, I'm not sure, number 5. I think she only created 20 of these. We had, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, this is going back 10 years now, choice between gold or silver. And I guess I'm guessing I opted for the gold because this is a lot of gold. So that's just the presentation card. And every single card was individually hand painted. And you can tell because the cards have all kind of warped from the moisture of the paint. It's really evident on the presentation card. So here is El Loco, the Fool. El Mago, the Magician. It's just so gorgeous. La Summa Sacerdotisa, the High Priestess. La Imperatriz, the Empress. It's absolutely phenomenal. And for all this, for the the glittering and the hand painting and everything, it wasn't that much money. Because if it had, I wouldn't have been able to get it. I was pretty poor back in those days. But yeah, it's a majors only. I mean, I can't even imagine painting 78 cards individually. So I'll just flip through them real quick since it is only a majors deck. It's just, it deserves to be seen because it is so gorgeous. It's so extraordinary. Look at that hermit. I just love this. Just incredible. Try not to take too long here, but such a beautiful death card. Temperance, La Templanza, Salus Populi Suprema Lex. Okay, my Latin is weak, so I can't translate. El Diablo, La Torre, Boom, La Estrella, La Luna, El Sol, El Juicio, El Mundo. And that is one of my little treasures. And I'll round up the next one. So this one is the Tarot de Euskalheria, which is the Basque country tarot. If you're not familiar with the Basques, they are an ethnic group that lives kind of in between, like on the border of Spain and France, and their language is apparently the sole surviving language of Proto-Indo-European or pre-Indo-European. It is not related to any known language. It now shares some words with Spanish and French and Italian, probably from mixing with those other countries over the years, as languages do, but it is a unique language. So it was created by, if it'll focus, Mauricio Erlands de Guler, and I think this means illustrated by Alfredo Fermin Samayan Mincho. So it's unique being a Basque deck. I don't think there are, at least when this came out, I don't believe there were any. This was put out by Fournier in Spain. I'm not sure what year this came out. I can't remember, and it's got this just kind of little booklet in several languages. There's Spanish, there's English, there was French, German. I would assume somewhere in here it would be in Basque as well, but I'm not sure. It kind of didn't look like it. So anyway, a fool striding off without his pants. And the titles on the cards are in Spanish, Basque, and English. Just zoom this in so I don't have to keep picking them up. Just look at a few. And so I'll spare you that. But it's a pip deck, but these are all unique to this deck. They're not exactly Marseille. Yeah, oh, no titles on the courts. That's pretty easy to tell who's who. And the cups are not, or the minors are numbered at least. Very pretty pips. Got swords. I really like them. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, that's very fun. I like that. This is 1991, so yeah. That's another one. It's very hard to find. I'm pretty sure it is long out of print, unfortunately, but you may be able... I think I bought this off someone on eBay like I do so many of my decks. Anyway, on to the next. Okay, another out of print unusual deck is the Diva Tarot, put out by Piatnik. And it's 93 cards for one thing. It has 5 suits. So in addition to the usual earth, air, fire, and water, it has a 5th suit called the triax. And it represents spirit. So the cards were designed to be like a keyhole, as if you're looking through a keyhole into the other world. Hence the unusual shape around the images. I think that's a beautiful High Priestess, though. Very pretty. The divas that it's named for are the word comes from Sanskrit, and it means what is unseen, invisible life forces, spirits, guardian spirits, fairies, deities, anything heavenly, divine, or of excellence. And then it also has an extra card called the Separator. So the minors are kind of pippish, but to me some of them are very reminiscent of Crowley's deck, of the Thoth deck, others not. But it does follow his, the way the minors are done. We've got the princess, the prince, the queen, and the knight. Here's the suit of triax. So another offbeat deck. So that's the Diva deck. And this is done by a Danish artist, Birgit Bolina Erfurt, a Karma Tarot. And this came out, this was from US Games, and I honestly don't know if this is out of print at the moment, or if they reprinted it, if it can be had anymore. So this one is copyright 1983. According to the little introduction here, which if it'll focus, you can read along. The phantasmagoric designs of the Karma Tarot deck by Danish artist Birgit Bolina Erfurt portray the underground society of artists, musicians, and young people that lived during the 1970s at Christiania, a self-contained area within the city of Copenhagen. So it's some very different art, as you can see. It's all out of order, so we'll just take a look at a few. Let me see if I can find out who that's supposed to be. She modeled some of the characters on people she knew. So this is modeled on Olga, somebody named Olga, born under the sign of Libra. She is known at Danish dance halls for the grace of her night-long dances and her beautiful costumes, as shown by the two dancers in the top corners of the card. So, interesting deck. Another one that's blowing up the Eiffel Tower. I think the Basque deck didn't have a similar image. Very unusual art style. And that's the Karma deck, and on we go. And yet another out-of-print deck. The Magical Tarot by Anthony Clark and Tony Willis. Again, another one I picked up used off eBay. This is very, very Crowley based. Whoops. I just throwing the box everywhere. So it's got a good chunky book with it. Now, a lot of people don't care for the art. They don't like these long, drawn out faces, but I really like it. Kind of a crazy back. And there's the Fool. The Magus, the Law of Reason. Priestess of the Silver Star. Daughter of the Mighty Ones, the Empress. Son of the Mornings, the Emperor. Magus of the Eternal Gods, the Hierophant. Children of the Voice Divine. Lord of the Hosts of the Mighty, the Blasted Tower. Daughter of the Firmament is the Star. The Moon, Flux and Reflux. And the Sun, Fire of the World. Midheaven, the Eon. And the Universe. Get used a lot, but I really enjoy having this in my collection. I love this deck. So I think those are all the really unusual tarot decks I have that are not readily available anymore, but I've got a couple of fun little Lenormands. I've got a few Lenormands, although I don't tend to use them as often. This one is from Enochian, the Clair de Lune Lenormand. Came out in 2016. And it's all like these white on black etchings or ink work. I'm not really, I forget, but I liked it a lot. I just love that star card. And the moon. I think when I saw the moon, that was when I decided I had to have it. So, put that away. Came in this lovely little tin. And then this one was a Kickstarter that I backed last year. It is a Lenormand deck using all like medieval illustrations. And it is gold gilded on the edges. I did do a walkthrough of this when I first got it, so I won't spend too much time on it now. All the borders are different on all the cards. I remember some people objecting to that when I did my walkthrough. They didn't like that, but I find it interesting. So anyway, I said I wasn't going to go through the whole deck since I have a walkthrough online. You can see that there. And okay, and then I've got a couple of other little weirdo decks. Okay, so next I have the Astro mythological deck by Mademoiselle Lenormand. This is a Grimaud deck. Came out many years ago. I bought it used on eBay. The box is in pretty bad shape. Let's see what year this came out in. Or at least what year this one is. If it says. No, don't think it does. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's long out of print. Very based on astrology, which I really know nothing about, but and it's also, they're very large cards, so they're like, let me say 3.5 by 5. There is, a good chunky book with them. It's just a very interesting deck. So I counted 54 cards, and supposedly it's got 2 extra male and female cards. So I guess that's the difference, but from a standard 52 card deck. But it's got all the playing card insets here. So I can find some of those others. Okay, well, probably not real quick because you never can. But anyway, it's an interesting deck. And I think the last one that I'm going to show, my Weaver's Oracle. This is, I think, just such an extraordinary deck. Came in this beautiful box with this lovely spiral, well, not spiral, but wire-bound book. And a little cotton bag to keep the cards in. But these are the most haunting paintings. I love the colors on the black background. They are large, very large deck. I think they're like 4 by 6. 4 by 5 3/4, I guess. But they're a good size deck and very, very powerful images. This, I don't really read this so much as use them for meditation. Just kind of pull a card and read the description in the book and kind of work with it that way. So I think that's pretty much it then for my weird and unusual deck. So I hope you like this, and I will talk to you soon. Blessed be.